Olympic values were respected and observed, wouldn't you?
Our goal is to inspire and enable people to adopt an active, healthy, and fulfilling lifestyle.
Team sports allow us to talk about life skills.
The Olympic Games in sport sees itself as a promoter of human rights.
Good morning, Namaste from India.
Namaste from Japan.
A very warm welcome. Thank you. Professor Hisashi Sanada. He is a professor and TIS chairman, Tsukuba International Academy of Sports Studies. Institute of webinar on Olympism of Olympic education in the 21st century. Dr. Hisashi Sanada studied history of the ancient Olympic Games and modern Olympic Games. He wrote the anthropological history of the modern Greek Olympic Games as a doctoral dissertation from the viewpoint of cultural and education. Dr. Sanada has also studied the philosophy and the achievement of Professor Jigoro Kano, who was a founder of Kodokan Judo and the first International Olympic Committee member from Japan. Dr. Sanada is the director of Center for Olympic Research and Education at University of Tsukuba, founded in 1910 for the 150th anniversary of Jigoro Kano's birth. In 1981, he was MBE of University of Tsukuba and became a professor in 2008 at Faculty of Healthy and Sports Sciences, University of Tsukuba. He went on in 2010 to be a director of Center of Olympic Research and Education. Then in 2014, counselor to CEO of Tokyo Organizing Committee of Olympic and Paralympic Games, as well as vice president of Pan Olympic Academy. In 2017, he became a member of Commission of Olympic Movement and Japanese Olympic Committee. Once again, I would like to welcome Dr. Sanada, Professor Sanada with us, because we all are waiting to hear from and through this Tokyo Olympic and post-Tokyo Olympic. So the floor is all yours, and we would like to welcome from Indian Olympic Association and participants. Welcome once again.
Namaste once again, and thank you very much for your introduction, Dr. Ariel. And dear friends, nice to meet you. And it is a great honor and pleasure for me to be invited to this great conference by the Indian Olympic Association. And I'd like to talk about the education and exchanging program for Tokyo 2020 Games and beyond the Games. I'd like to show my PowerPoint slide. And first of all, I must say thank you again. I and my colleagues were invited to India by the Sports Authority of India. That conference is Road to Tokyo 2020 Japanese Cultural Sensitivity Workshop, OMOTENASHI, on February 2020. And Mr. Kirin Riju, the Minister of the Youth and Sports, joined this session, and he wore the Japanese kimono, traditional clothes. And we introduced our Japanese culture for the athletes and the staffs who were going to come to Tokyo 2020 Games. And we introduced some hospitality and manner in Japan. And we also visited Patiala, and we talked about the Japanese culture and the importance of the cultural exchanges with India. And regarding the Olympic and Paralympic education in Tokyo Metropolitan City, which is the host city of the Tokyo 2020 Games, the program is implementing 4x4 initiatives that is promoted by combining the 4 themes: the values and the spirit of the Olympic and Paralympic Games, sports, culture, and environment, and learn, watch, do, support. If I focus on the culture, we learn the culture of India, we watch the culture of India, we have some activities regarding the Indian culture, and support the Indian culture and Indian athletes. This is the framework of the Olympic and Paralympic education in Tokyo Metropolitan City. And we set the 5 mindsets. One of them is volunteer spirit. And second is understanding for people with impairments. 3 is healthiness through sports. And 4th, self-awareness and pride as a Japanese citizen. And 5, rich international sense. And I'd like to show you the summary of the Olympic and Paralympic education in Tokyo.
Public schools, 1 million school children, 35 hours per year, over 5 years. Since 2016, Tokyo has been educating children about the Olympic and Paralympic Games. The goals of the Japanese education system have much in common with the spirit of the Olympic and Paralympic Games. This is why Tokyo has been carrying out experience and activity-oriented Olympic and Paralympic education that correlates with everyday educational activities. Through these educational programs, children develop 5 key qualities: volunteer spirit, understanding of people with impairments, healthiness through sports, self-awareness and pride as Japanese citizens, and rich international mindset. Nurturing these 5 traits will instill in children a spirit of living in harmony and cooperation with others, which will help achieve an inclusive and collaborative society. In order to develop these 5 qualities, our 4 major projects include the Tokyo Youth Volunteers Project, designed to foster volunteer spirit and consideration for others, and the Smile Project, designed to deepen mutual understanding of others' personalities and idiosyncrasies. In addition, the Dream and Future Project sends Olympians, Paralympians, and other athletes to schools where they interact with, motivate, and inspire children. The Global Friendship Project encourages children to learn about and interact with countries and regions expected to participate in the Games. We have also distributed educational materials such as Olympic and Paralympic textbooks and provide various forms of support to schools. In 2020, the children will participate in the Games in many ways, interact with visitors from around the world, and witness the performance of the world's top athletes. They will do everything from voting to choose the game's official mascots to watching the games in the stadiums. Through such experiences, children will be left with a legacy in both mind and body that nurtures a spirit of living in harmony and cooperation with others. This will lead to achieving an inclusive and collaborative society. Olympic and Paralympic education in Tokyo.
Thank you very much. This is PV for the Tokyo Olympic and Paralympic Education Program. And I'd like to focus on the Global Friendship Project. This is a project for the interacting with other countries for students. And the first, they will learn the history, culture of the foreign countries, and they invite the staff of embassies to their school and talk with them about their history, culture of the countries. And some schools send letters to have exchange with school in that partner's country. And some of them may have a collaboration as a friendship school. And for example, the Global Friendship School with Qatar, the staff of Embassy of State of Qatar visited a school in Tokyo and talked their culture, climate, and trade. The students welcomed them with singing the national anthem of Qatar in Arabic language and asked their students' lifestyle and traditional clothes. The lesson expanded students' interest in Qatar's culture and traditions and opened their eyes to the many ways in which Qatar and Japan are deeply connected. I think this is very important to find the connection with other countries. And next example is Global Friendship School with Hong Kong. The students from Hong Kong visited the school in Tokyo, and after students of brass band club welcomed them with a play, they learned about Japanese culture through folding origami, paper crafts, and playing some traditional toys. And everyone ate school lunch together, and it was an opportunity for the Hong Kong children to see how school lunch is served and cleaned up in Japan, as well as learn about Japanese food. They overcame the language barrier using the facial expressions and gestures. The day was valuable for the both sides, Japanese students and students from Hong Kong. This is a global friendship project, and many schools in Tokyo join this program. And we consider the legacy by the education program. one of them is a lifelong legacy that remains in the body and the soul of each child, and to develop initiatives at school as educational activities that can be continued for a long time, even after the games. And to realize inclusive society and mutual help through efforts that also involve households and regional community. But now the coronavirus came to Japan also, and now we provide some goods and educational materials that the student can learn in their home. And this is one of the goods for the children, elementary school children. They make the mascot of Tokyo 2020 and paint them. And other education materials under COVID-19 for the junior high school and the high school. We are now preparing for such kind of the text. This is a time to consider the followings. What is the value of sports under the COVID-19? And what did athletes express their message to us? What is the meaning of sports, exercise, training for us? And what is the Olympic movement in future? This is a good chance to consider these kind of the questions. This is a graph for the education program. The education effect to children diffuse to households and regional communities. They have interactive effects each other, and this effects to be continued to the next generation. And next, I'd like to introduce the host town initiatives. This is a program by the Japanese government, and this is a program for the local town in Japan. And local towns in Japan welcome athletes from all over the world who are taking part in the Tokyo 2020 Games. And those host towns will build warm friendship with participating countries through grassroots exchanges. From north to the south, we have about 1,700 local towns in all, and now in the end of this May, 498 local towns are registered as host town, and 171 counterpart countries. So the 30% of the local towns join this program. And host town support athletes to perform great in Tokyo. The town will cheer the teams at Tokyo 2020 and welcome athletes visit before or after the games with various events and warm hospitality. And they will host play games and training camps, but this is optional. Already many host towns held the play games training camps in the last year. And what is the benefit to have host town for the foreign countries? They can promote their countries to Japan or to world, and they have more opportunity to be exposed to Japanese or world media and increase their country's publicity to Japan or to the world. And deepen mutual understanding through grassroots exchanges with the citizens, children, inhabitants. And more people in Japan become a fan of their countries, and they will experience unique culture of Japanese local towns. Each local town have own local culture, so they can enjoy the Japanese culture. And the long-lasting exchange between your country and host town. And they have great opportunity to deepen cultural and economical exchanges and to develop long-term relationship even after the games. And when we focus on athletes from the foreign country, they will engage in warm cultural exchanges in host town to deepen mutual friendship. And they will experience Japanese culture, interact with students, enjoy local food, etc. And then utilize the opportunity to introduce your country to Japanese people. And how we can find the relationships with foreign countries. If the local town have relationship for sister city, it is easy. Or already some towns hosted a play camp for other events. It is also easy to find the relationship. And otherwise, the citizens discover the historical relationship. They looking back to their history and what the guest visited our city from other countries and what kind of the exchange program or ceremony held at that time. And through this historical relationship, they can find some partner countries. Or the Japanese company located in other countries, in that case, or the same city flower, or the same city motto, or the introduction by someone. So you can find the list of host towns in the website. And this is a series schedules of exchanging program. And before 2020 games, the training camps and the various exchanges and play games. Some countries have camps in the host town, and during the games, many citizens cheer your team at the stadium or public viewing. And post-games for beyond 2020, they continue the exchanging with athletes, students, citizens in culture, education, economy, etc. This is a scheme host-time initiative. The Cabinet Secretariat, they organize this program. And if the local government was registered as host town, the Japanese government support with some budget to continue this host town program. And some example for this host town. The Kasama city in Ibaraki Prefecture, near from my house now, and they host Ethiopian, and Ethiopian junior athletes visited this city to participate host town activities. Joint team of Ethiopian junior athletes and Japanese junior athletes participated in Kasama Junior High School Ekiden relay competition. Ekiden relay is a long distance relay race, the traditional sports in Japan. This is like that. And they also visited local junior high school to deepen friendship with Japanese students. They tried the Japanese calligraphy, writing the letters, and they joined English class in junior high school, and they enjoyed the sports competition with students. And this is Mishima village, the south of Japan, the island. Small island, and this is a host town for Guinea. And why this host town was registered? The reason is that the world famous master of djembe drum from Guinea has been visiting Mishima village almost every year to teach djembe to children in Mishima. This is a djembe drum, the traditional instrument in Guinea, and every year the master of djembe visited this island and taught the playing how to play the djembe. And the djembe is now played at various moments in the village. When the ships came to this island, the citizens welcomed the visitors playing the djembe. And this Mishima town, Mishima village, wants to have exchange after the Tokyo 2020 Games, inviting Guinean Olympians to the village. This village is far from Tokyo, but they can touch the Olympic movement. And another example is Niza city in Saitama Prefecture. It is near from Tokyo. This town is a host town for the Brazil, and the citizen made the national flag of Brazil with the papers. This is made by papers. And this national flag was given to the ambassador to Japan. And play camp were held in this Niza city. The World Relay Race at Yokohama was held in last year, and the Brazilian team had play camp in Niza athletic ground, and they got gold prize in that world relay race. And in turn, Japanese students were invited to Brazil School Games in 2019. So 2 junior high school students and 2 high school students joined this Brazil School Games. It was very good experience for these young students. And I'd like to talk the host town for India. One of the local town is Okuizumo. This is a small town of 13,000 people situated in the West Japan's Shimane Prefecture. Here, this is Okuizumo town. Tokyo is here, 900 kilometers from Tokyo. And this town has made a name for itself as one of the strongest bases of hockey in Japan. This town alone has produced 4 Olympic level and more than 50 national level players over the past 2 decades. At present, 12 Okuizumo based hockey players are active under the national hockey team. The students in this Okuizumo town, they play hockey from the elementary school days. And sometimes the junior high school hockey club got gold medal in Japan, number 1 in Japan. Why they could get win, and the students from India who have ever played hockey in India came to the high school in this town, and they taught the student how to play hockey, what is technique for hockey training. So many Indian students in Japan came to this town. And some of them are Okuizumo's hockey stars. 9 former students of high school in this town participated in the 18th Asian Games in Jakarta, where both the men and women's team won gold medal for the first time in the history of Japanese hockey. With this historic win, the expectations towards the team's performance at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics will be highly anticipated. And the men's team also, 5 members are from this town. This is a national team. That's why this town apply for the host town for India. As Japan's Asian counterpart, the national India hockey team is not only ranked one in Asia, both men and women. India had been one of the most successful hockey teams in the world. They are an example of world-class hockey, which the town of hockey looks up to as an inspiration. For Okuizumo town, hockey is not just a sport but a way of life in this town. Then they were already prepared to invite hockey members from India, but it would be postponed to the next year. And in this town, they held some events to introduce Indian culture. The left one is a picture for school lunch. They sometimes eat Indian foods as school lunch. This is curry. And for the citizens, such kind of the events to introduce Indian culture were implemented. This is also the foods of India. We Japanese like curry very much. And another town, host town for India is Kurobe city in Toyama prefecture, northeast of Japan. And this town is a host town for Indian archery team. And the mayor of the city visited the ambassador to Japan, Indian ambassador, and made MOU for host town. And Indian staff visited this town, this city, and they watched the field of archery in this city. This city have a very good field for archery, and many students, many young men are practicing the archery. And they held the Indian festival and introduced Indian foods. It seems very delicious. And for this host town programs, the NHK, the public broadcast company, opened the website of Let's Cheer for the World. There are all of the countries in the world, Singapore, Slovenia, Iceland, Afghanistan, USA, etc. And if I enter in this site, how shall we cheer for these people? It shows like that. So I'd like to show the India.
बोलो भारत माता की जय. बोलो भारत माता की जय.
साल में सबसे ज्यादा फिल्में बनाता है और भारतीय फिल्म नाच गाने की वजह से प्रसिद्ध है। जब ही प्रसिद्ध अभिनेत्री और अभिनेता नाच गाना करते हैं तो सारे लोग उनको बहुत पसंद करते हैं। अभी हम आपको दिखाते हैं कि नारे कैसे लगाते हैं। बोलो भारत माता की जय, बोलो भारत माता की जय, बोलो भारत माता की जय। कैसे लगे हमारे नारे आपको? भारत माता की जय, हाहा नारू इंदोनी एको अरे, ये मतलब है हमें बहुत खुशी होगी जब आप भारतीय खिलाड़ियों के लिए नारे लगाएंगे। बोलो भारत माता की जय, बोलो भारत माता की जय, बोलो भारत माता की जय।
Thank you. If the Indian athlete come to Japan, the Boston people say, Bolo Bharat Mata Ki Jai. And finally, what legacy shall we hand over to the next generation? We must consider through this kind of the exchange program and sports, culture, education, sightseeing, inclusive society, vitalization of the community or the local town, and resilience and recovery from the disaster, including the COVID-19. And I think that education and exchanging program promote the solidarity and peace. The ideal of human society that no one can oppose is that oneself and others flourish by mutual compromise and assistance of every member of society. This is a words by Jigoro Kano, the first IOC member from Japan, and Pierre de Coubertin told to educate young people through sports in a spirit of better understanding between each other and of friendship, thereby helping to build a better and more peaceful world. And finally, Mahatma Gandhi, the highest moral law is that we should unlimitedly work for the good for humankind. Thank you for your attention. This is Capital by the Thomas Buffer, written with
Thank you, Professor Sanada.
Yes.
That was a very enlightening and with a broad wisdom, your talk and your session. And yes, Bharat Mata Ki Jai. We would like to hear these slogans when our team will reach to Tokyo. Thank you.
Yeah.
And let's cheer for the world. In this state of pandemic, we must cheer each and every country. We all are suffering with the same scenario of pandemic. So this is the time to cheer and wait for the Olympic to be held for peace and for harmony and for friendship. 498 host towns. Wow, that's amazing. That's an amazing preparation, and that's an amazing thought for exchange of all the culture across the globe with different countries, making the hometown host town, and sharing their culture, sharing their food, sharing their festivals. That's so amazing vision. I must congratulate Japan for always having such a vast vision. Thank you. Ethiopia, Guinea, and Brazil.
Mhm.
They are working as a co-team, practicing different games and uh, different culture. Always learning with that. And Kurobe has a archery hub. Wow! I would like to share with you.
Mhm.
I am HOD in Deshbandhu College, University of Delhi.
Mhm.
My archery team has 385 medals for
Oh.
past 5 years.
Mhm. Great.
And I would definitely request to my government, Indian Olympic Association, Dr. Narendra ji, to somehow organize an exchange program of my team with Japan so that my student can also be benefited with this exchange programs. Thank you. Yes, hockey is our national game. Yes, we have very exclusive skills. We have exponential players and exchanging our student skill with teaching them Japanese student. That's a very great vision. Having a exposure to both the
Mhm.
nations about practicing hockey in Okuizumo.
Mhm.
I have visited many times to Tokyo in World Championship, Suzuki World Cup, aerobic gymnastics, and I'm in love with Japan.
Mhm.
That's a very amazing country. The thing I like, that's a discipline and the citizenship you have to inculcate in every citizen. That's the amazing part of world.
Thank you very much.
Pierre de Coubertin said, thank you. Pierre de Coubertin said, the future of our civilization does not rest on politics and economics foundation. It wholly depends on the direction given to education. And through Olympic education, we are inculcating the excellence, the respect, and the friendship. We are looking forward to see Tokyo Olympic to be hosted as soon as possible so that the whole world can be together, can be cheered, can see the light of the new life in this pandemic.
Yeah.
I would like to have a question answer round. I think
Yes,
I will
Dr.
ask a
Padial, go for it.
question. I would like to request Professor Sanada that our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji is going to bid for, I think, 2034 Olympics.
Yes.
So we would like your suggestion, your guidance, what India should do to start preparing way ahead of time.
Okay,
Yeah.
am I audible now?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, I'll do that.
Okay. You have a great philosophy like Gandhi
Right.
and
So,
Tagore.
how are
So
you planning to take the education legacy forward, especially in schools?
Ashish, just hold on for a second. Ashish, Dr. Padial had a question. You might not hear this in time because there's a little bit of a lag. But Ashish, just hold off for a second. And Dr. Sanada, carry on with the answer. You were talking about Gandhi and Gandhi's philosophy and legacy.
yes, for the Olympic Games in India, I hope that you have a great philosophy by the Gandhi and Tagore and etc. So I hope the new Olympism would be born from India for the peace and for the next generation. Indians look the most peaceful ideas they have. So I hope this is not the west side, but the Asian side. We need to collaborate and make the new Olympism. I hope and I believe. Thank you.
Wow, that's an amazing belief on India from your side, from the Japan side. Yeah, India is leading the world, and people are looking at India right now with all the hopes. And we hope with this leadership in our country, we are going to make new marks in Olympic, in peace, in friendship throughout the world and all over across the countries. Thank you, Professor Sanada. Uh, Over to Ashish or Anubhav.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
the
yes.
question.
So, right. So we have about 1 minute left until we finish this. So I think we can conclude proceedings. Ashish, you had mentioned
Okay.
that Dr. Sanada had answered your second question as well while answering your first question. So I think we should be good to conclude this session. I have one request from Dr. Padyal, from Sanada-san, from Ashish as well. How about all of us, given the fact that we're in different locations, different parts of the world as well, how about all of us just do a namaste in unison? So I can say 3, 2, 1,
wow.
and we can do a namaste in unison. Ashish's namaste might come slightly late, only because there's a little bit of a lag, but that's not a
Right.
problem. So
Ashish can start early.
Ashish can start early. That's a good suggestion. Oh, he started early. There you go. So
Right.
3, 2, 1, namaste.
Namaste.
Boro
Namaste.
Pahala Mata ki Jai.
Jai.
Bharat
Let's-
Mata
let's-
ki
why
jai.
Why don't we do that as well? So I'll say 3, 2, 1, and all three of us can say Bharat Mata Ki Jai, right? Because in
Great.
many ways, this was very evident and clear through Dr. Sanada's beautiful presentation and some of the beautiful videos that he had lined up for us. So 3,
True.
2, 1, Bharat Mata Ki.
Bharat Mata ki jai.
Fantastic. There you go. We got Ashish's Bharat Mata Ki Jai time as well. Lovely. So we'll conclude proceedings. We'll conclude proceedings on that note. This was a fabulous session. Thank you so much to Sanada-san for this beautiful presentation.